All right, everybody, welcome to another episode of Discovering Multifamily. I'm your host, Anthony Scandariato with Red Knight Properties. And today we have a very special guest here with us, Mike Vann with Trident Multifamily. He's a co-founder there. And Mike has a pretty unique story balancing a family and a full-time career in a high-paying and demanding field. I'm sure you're aware of the medical device industry and how much time that could take up. And he's actually able to kind of balance his personal real estate portfolio that he's been able to build up over the years. And then he's been able to scale pretty quickly to 1,000 units in Kansas, Oklahoma, and Dallas, Fort Worth area with over 60 million in value. So we want to talk to Mike about his almost like work-life balance and how he's able to handle the full-time job with the real estate investing and the syndication business. So really appreciate Mike for coming on here. And Mike's from Missouri, so we're recording from New Jersey. So welcome to the show.
Thanks, Anthony. Appreciate you having me on.
Great. So can you talk to our listeners about, I guess, your story, how you started out, and we can kind of guide this conversation from there?
Sure. Well, like a lot of people, started out with small. Actually, my very first property I ever bought was a duplex, for sale by owner duplex, and I had seen this late night infomercial from Carlton Sheets about real estate, no money down. So I was like, oh, that sounds great. The palm trees in the background, the Jaguar, and all that kind of stuff. And it's like, oh, that sounds great. So read his course and promptly put it on the shelf. Like a lot of people do who have a great idea and then don't take any action. So a year or so later, our company announced they were going to do some layoffs. I was in the pharmaceutical industry at that time. And the company announced they're going to do some layoffs. And so I sat by the phone waiting for that phone call, and got the phone call, and I made it through the layoff. So I kept my job, but at that point realized that I was a number to the corporate world, and that's all I was. I needed to look for an alternative source of income in case the next time I wasn't so lucky. So got the course back out, dusted it off, went driving for dollars, found this for sale by owner from a mom and pop, negotiated a price on that, ended up getting some cash back at closing, and I was off to the races. So from there, I bought a single family house, and then changed jobs, moved to Texas. So for about a couple of years, and had I been more educated at the time, I would have kept those properties and just rented them long term or long distance. But sold those and moved to Texas for this new exciting job in the medical device field. I was there about a year, and then moved back to where I am now, to Missouri, from promotions. And after being here about a year, that was kind of the height of the flipping shows and all that kind of stuff. So that was around 2006 and 2005, 2006. So after about a year here learning the market, started flipping some houses, and flipped a couple houses. Then 2008 hit, and my limited education at the time was, well, if no one can get credit to buy my houses, then I'm going to stop flipping. Whereas I should have been buying and holding at that point. So a couple of years go by, I keep educating myself and realize, oh no, I should be in the market, not sitting on the sidelines. So jumped back in and found a 16 unit bank owned property, and negotiated a great price on that from the bank, and went on from there and just accumulated more properties over the following years in my solo portfolio. And then in 2017, joined a mentoring group and got into syndication.
That's great. That's an awesome story. So how are you, when you first started out, obviously you were in a little bit of a flipping business, and then started to slowly, gravitate towards the higher unit counts, which is how a lot of people end up, scaling their business. But you were also working a full-time job. So did you self-manage, or did you use third-party man?
My very first two properties I self-managed, and quickly realized within that year that I had those, I was not cut out for that. Um, I know the numbers, I know how to operate, but as far as the day-to-day management, that's not cut out for that. So I use third-party management for everything, and that's really the only way you can do it whenever you have a full-time job, especially in a family, and you're trying to get any kind of balance at all. Is you have to give up some control, and so it's a very important piece. So you have to vet the property managers, very thoroughly, and make sure that they're a good fit. And I was fortunate enough to find some good ones.
Great, Mike. So you mentioned the word syndication. Could you talk about what attracted you to syndication instead
Yeah,
of accumulating a portfolio of wealth on your own, which I'm sure you're still doing to some extent. So I'd just love to hear that.
yeah. I'll always, keep trading up, so to speak, in my personal portfolio. But we went through, even with the job I have now. There's cutbacks and things like that at different times, and so back then we went through a downsizing, and I made it through the downsizing just fine. But once again, I had put a goal for myself of living off my passive income from real estate at some point in the future, and decided that the blessing and the curse of having a good W-2 job is you make a lot of money, but then again, you got to replace a lot of income. So, and my personal portfolio was doing okay, but it wasn't going to get me where I needed to be to make myself and my wife feel comfortable, especially with having two kids going to college now. So, or getting ready to go to college at that point. So 2017, I sold that first 16-unit property and 1031 that into a 55-unit complex that I bought on my own. And then later that year, joined the apartment syndication mentoring program. And I did that specifically for the fact that, I wanted to scale and be able to hit my passive income goal sooner rather than later. You can do that on your own, but it takes a lot more time. And so I figured out that the power of partnerships is going to propel me that much faster, and cut my timeline down. So joined the mentoring program for the simple fact that I wanted to join a program where people were doing what I wanted to do or were at where I wanted to be. And, I didn't join it to learn the fundamentals of real estate, but apartments are different than small multifamily. And so from a management standpoint, from a legal compliance standpoint, in fact, you're raising money now, stewarding other people's funds, SEC compliance, managing large scale, rentals, and financing is different as well. So basically, for your listeners, a syndication is the fact where you pool passive investors' funds together for the down payment, essentially, including, we invest our own money alongside the investors. So we don't place their money for them like a REIT. We invest alongside them, and they have a fractional ownership of that piece of property. And then we leverage that with non-recourse Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac debt, non-recourse financing, and go in and improve the asset, improve the overall value of the property, and therefore improve everyone's investment for a nice, healthy return.
Very nice. Can you try to talk about the partnerships a little bit more, at least your partnership that you have created today, which is Trident Multifamily?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So when I joined this mentoring program, it was there's a lot of networking involved, a lot of high-level operators, and I got in and met a lot of great people doing great things, and formed a couple different partnerships. And the first couple deals I did as a key principal, where I signed on the loan as a non-recourse loan, but I still signed on the loan as a guarantor. Basically, lent some of my net worth and liquidity to the requirements that the lender has. I did that for the simple fact that you have to have experience, agency experience, having signed on a Fannie Mae or Freddie Mac loan in order to lead your own deal and get your own loan. So I did my first two deals that way, and then the next three deals I did as a co-sponsor. One I co-sponsored with one of the prior groups that I had KP'd on their deal, and then my fourth deal was another co-sponsor with two of my partners that I have now. And we had met each other through the program and gotten to know each other, and decided we wanted to start pursuing deals together. But just like anything, you never know how people are going to perform and react in certain situations when the pressure's really on. So even though we sat around and enjoyed each other's, drinking a beer together and stuff like that, and seemed to have an alignment of interest in regards to real estate and had like-minded thinking, we decided to pursue the first deal as separate entities. So we all came in under our separate LLCs and did that deal together to see kind of how we worked together, how we, split the task, if we worked well together under pressure, how we all raised money, for the deal. And it worked phenomenal. We had a great, it was a great process, very smooth. Everyone contributed equitably to the partnership. So after that was over, we decided to formalize our partnership and create Trident Multifamily, and started branding ourselves as that, and and then closed a second deal in November of last year under the Trident brand, so to speak, in Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Very nice. So how many units are you guys up to now in your partnership?
So just under the Trident banner, we only have 274. Under our overall partnerships, about 1,400. Just myself under my partnerships, almost 1,000 units, right? Just under 1,000. And as far as being co-sponsor and on the general partnership side of deals. But yeah, so the Trident banner, that's like I said, brand new basically, and we are building from there.
Awesome. Can you I want to dig a little bit more into the partnership. So you're still working that full-time job that we spoke about before. So I think you mentioned you have two other partners. So what's everybody's kind of designated role in your company?
The great thing about what I do now is I have a lot of flexibility in my schedule. I'm in the OR a lot, but then there are times that I'm not in the OR as well. So I have a lot of time to be on the phone, on the computer, flexibility to go tour deals, go on site, things like that. Carl Supercrop, my partner out of Dallas, Fort Worth, he is full-time in our business. This is all he does is Trident Multifamily. Rodney owns a chain of medical clinics. He has people that run those for him. And so he spends, probably 25, 30% of his time doing that. And then the other 70% of his time with Trident Multifamily. I'm the only loser with a job, basically.
That's all right. No, that's good. I was just curious to understand the almost like the roles and responsibilities of everybody.
Yeah. Carl, we all kind of have overlapping responsibilities. As we have gone through the last two deals together, we kind of shift our responsibilities or different areas just to make sure that we are, staying sharp on all facets of the process. But then again, we also have oversight into each other's, the process through our daily communication, basically, as far as checking off, where we're at on our rocks and things like that. Things we need to get done, and making sure we're holding each other accountable.
Sure. Where would you suggest someone who also has a high-paying W-2 job and wants to diversify into real estate and doesn't really know how or have the time, quite frankly, because it is a time commitment too.
Well, that's one of the things that we do at Trident Multifamily is we help busy professionals who may like what they do, and I love what I do. It's just that I love real estate more, and the freedom that can create, and what I want to do with that freedom, which we can get to later if you want to. But basically, that's what we do at Trident Multifamily is we help busy professionals who want to enjoy the benefits of real estate. Being the higher returns than what you get in the market. The fact that it's a hard asset secured by real estate versus a piece of paper. The tax advantages you can get with real estate, and basically just get passive returns. I mean, you need to be educated. We like our investors to be educated on how to underwrite a deal. We want them to understand fully, the risks and the upside of what they're getting into. And that's why we were looking at creating a Trident Multifamily school, just so people who are, new to real estate investment, or even new to multifamily syndication we're creating this content to kind of just give them, to walk them through the process so they can become educated on how to underwrite deals, questions to ask us as syndicators or other groups they may be working with, to know that what kind of people that they're working with and what kind of assumptions they're looking at whenever they're underwriting deals. So yeah, that's kind of where we're at.
That makes sense. And you talked about a couple of things. So in terms of what you guys provide as a service to help, individuals generate passive income through real estate.
Mm-hmm.
I guess for you, and this may be more of a personal question, why would do you like being on the active? Because there's a difference between active and passive.
Mm-hmm.
Could you kind of explain, obviously, the two differences to our audiences and why you chose to go towards the active side and to a
Sure.
certain extent, but also
Sure.
still have a passive side as well? Is there a
Right.
balance? Can you do both? Is my question.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, because we're passive in our deals. We invest our own money alongside the other limited partners. So we invest our money on the LP, the limited partnership side as well, as having our quote sweat equity that we gain from the general partnership side. And we invest in other people's deals as well. I'm passive in other people's deals as well. So, it's something that you can enjoy both. It takes a lot of time and dedication and lack of sleep to do both, be an active syndicator while you are, especially while you have a full-time job and a family. So I don't sleep a lot. I'm actually 27 years old. I just aged this much, and I'm just
You're looking.
kidding. Yeah, so you can do both. I mean, partnerships though is key. I mean, I would not be able to do syndication without my partners. I think that you can do more together than you can alone. Further together, so to speak, is kind of a motto. But yeah, like I said, you can do both, but you have to educate yourself, and whether that's through books and podcasts, networking, or a mentorship program. I mean, the reason I did a mentorship program is because I wanted to compress my timeline. You can do it all on your own if you want to, but it's going to take a lot of time. You may end up making a lot of expensive mistakes. So, I spent a lot of money on the mentorship program, but it was money well spent. In my opinion, it was more of an investment in myself.
Right. Yeah. That's how you have to think about it as an investment in yourself. You might not see the immediate returns right away,
Mm-hmm.
but understand
More
what your
than paid
goals
for
are.
itself already.
Right. Yeah. Just understanding what your goal is coming into it and also coming
Mm-hmm.
out of it.
Yeah.
So you don't get disappointed if nothing comes out of it.
For sure. I mean, you have to be persistent in this game. I mean, there's going to be a lot of disappointing days. When you work months on a deal and end up coming in second, and you don't get a working deal, you just have to press through.
Yep, I've been there more than once, so
Yeah.
I understand exactly how it feels. Mike, so we kind of want to wind down the show a little bit here.
Sure.
I usually like to ask my guests 3 quick questions towards the end.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't really talk about many books. Do you have any favorite real estate book or business book that you recommend?
Joe Fairless's book is a great book on syndication. I mean, for people who are wanting to, whether you're going to be a passive or an active investor, that's a great book to read. It helps you understand the entire process. So I highly recommend that. Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich. I mean, I love that book. I read it every year, and it's a fantastic book. And of course, the old Rich Dad Poor Dad. It's a great book for mindset on how you view income.
Sure, definitely. And outside of real estate and family and medical device, what are your hobbies?
We like to go to the lake and enjoy time doing that together as a family. Used to play golf. I don't have much time for that anymore. I like to duck hunt, but I like to give back through mission work. We work a lot with the homeless shelter here in Springfield. And I've also done a few international mission trips as well. But that's really a big why for me, is to be able to replace my income through passive real estate income and leave the corporate world to be able to give me freedom to do more mission work.
That's a great mission for sure. Mike, how can people find you?
You can go to our website at tridentmultifamily.com, or send me an email, mike@tridentmultifamily.com, or reach out and call 417-576-8850. Be happy to help anybody I can.
Sure. And we'll have a link to Mike's website, LinkedIn page, and phone number in the comment section of the iTunes podcast, and also on all the social media platforms. So really interesting conversation, Mike. I really appreciate you coming on, and hopefully our listeners got something out of it.
My pleasure. Yeah, I hope they did as well.
Great. Thank you again, Mike.
Thank you. Have a great day.
You too.